what's a prosperity scam?
So a prosperity scam it's also called affinity fraud. It's when a trusted person in your community brings a can't miss investment to you, and it turns out they're scamming. So these are very popular in minority communities, expatriate communities, where somebody who is part of this community, speaks the language, understands the customs, but is also a stone cold fraudster. So there was an affinity fraud that started in the early 90s in downstate Illinois. It's called Omega. And it was this guy who was part of this very close-knit Christian community in this town of Mattoon, Illinois, downstate. And he starts talking about how he has access to what he calls prime European banknotes. He's one of 6 people in the world who knows what these are and has access to them. And he's going to help his friends and his church make huge amounts of money off of this. And suddenly all this money starts flooding into Mattoon, Illinois. People are driving around in 100-year-old cars. They're building mega mansions. There are stories of people like toting sacks of cash around that are so heavy they rip when you pick them up. This is all a scam. This guy, his name's Clyde Hood. He's like a small-time grifter, bar bouncer. It finds this thing, makes a huge amount of money off it. Everybody in his circle gets indicted. They all go to prison. All of this stuff gets confiscated. So there's someone who's in his circle who's invested in this Omega Trust. Her name is Shani Goodwin. She reinvents herself by calling herself Dove of Oneness. She's living in a trailer park in Yelm, Washington. Now, Yelm is this like new age hotbed. It's where the Ramtha cult is. All kinds of sort of new agey, fraudy stuff is going on there. She starts saying that she is not only plugged into Omega, she's plugged into this other thing called Nasara. And this is another real economic proposal. It's a very long story, but this guy printed up this economic proposal that was going to do away with income tax and debt, and like everybody was going to be on a level playing field. She takes this and turns it into this pie in the sky prosperity program where the federal government was going to release trillions of dollars to the people at just the right time. And there's like angels and demons and aliens, and 9/11 happens to stop the release of the prosperity money. That's where the papers are being stored on the 97th floor of the Twin Towers. The first 9/11 conspiracy theory is Dove of Oneness, saying that the planes were sent to destroy all of the Nasara paperwork. This goes on for years. It's actually still going. There are people who still believe that Nasara is going to happen. So some of the Nasara people eventually start getting sucked into QAnon because it's very similar. It's the all-knowing guru, the great event. There's always something that's about to happen. But with something like Omega or Nasara, you're committing fraud. You're telling people that a great investment is going to pay off for them if you give them enough money. There's nothing inherently fraudulent with QAnon. So you can keep Q going indefinitely by just promising that awesome stuff is going to happen, but it's not financially based. So it's all a kind of a ladder that leads from one scam to the next scam, and then you get to Q, and then Q will lead to the next thing and the next thing.